Shalom, shalom. This is Israel. Wake up. This is our evening Sabbath class. To close out the Sabbath, the 7th of November, 2020. We're going to do a moment of silence in regards to our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, and all that we see him doing in the earth and in the heaven to bring about our deliverance. Okay, and so then we're going to do a prayer and go into current events. O Lord, we come this day praising thee, worshiping thee, that thou may, for thy power and thy great understanding. O Lord, the end times that you foretold unto our forefathers are upon us. O Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that thou hast foretold. Thank you for another Sabbath day. Give us, O Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide thy word, that they are delivered in righteousness and in truth. There is great confusion among your inheritors, O Lord, now that you are awakening them. For I know, O Lord, that your hand is sure and that your hand is firm. O Lord, we need you so very much in this latter days. We will tarry and depend upon you, O Lord, because there is none else besides you, O Lord. You are our Redeemer and our Deliverer. Peace be unto you, O Lord. Okay, with that being said, anybody got any current events? Okay, well, I don't know if anybody know it or not, but I'm quite sure you do. But right after we finished with this morning Sabbath class, they pronounced Biden the president. He ended up getting those Pennsylvania. I think he got Arizona and Nevada. He's up to like 298 or something like that right now. And they already pronounced him the newly elected president. Did anybody know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw something like that. Well, I didn't listen to it or play it or anything on the YouTube, the news, but how many total electorals are there to be had?
I'm thinking it's somewhere like 560, something like that, 565.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
And I also saw that rolling. That was really funny.
Yeah, Roland Martin.
Yeah, that was funny. They was really making fun of what she was doing. It was funny.
Yeah, that was crazy. That totally exposed Christianity. Yeah. So I had been telling everybody about that about the $100 bill and what's on the $100 bill, and I finally found this, so I'm gonna play it. Then we'll talk about a little bit of it. Okay.
This is a mega news flash. Y'all have been watching, anyone that's been watching what I do, I decrypted the U.S. currency years ago, bills that no one else knew what was on those bills. That is an identical match to the side of the building of the Albert P. Moore building.
So you can see that, right?
I'm going to show you the old $10 bill.
So you can see
the
that?
latest $10 bill. There it is.
Yes.
Highway coming over a building with a radioactive sky. The sky is radioactive. There's a nuke in the background. This is tidal wave. This is a building right here. And when I move my hand, you will see this building's reflection in the water. There it is. This is the water right here. Okay, that's the $10 bill. The $100 bill has come out, the new $100 bill. This is urgent, viral, get it out. It's coming, I guarantee it. The prophetic utterance the Lord gave me in 2007, it is, many of those things have already happened. This is the end of it. Get ready. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, the hand of the oppressor has been lifted against you. And out of the sea shall come fire and smoke and devouring wind. Water as high as the walls of Jerusalem shall cover the city by the sea, and great shall be the destruction of that city. Here is the new $100 bill. The 10 has been turned upside down. Anyone that watches my ministry should know what that means. Here come contrails of missiles right here. There's a contrail of a missile coming in, exploding. Coming in from this side right here, exploding. The reason I'm showing it to you on this is because once you put it in a higher resolution, it's difficult to see. But with the naked eye, here again is the contrail coming in, missile exploding. This is going to be New York City, and you're going to see the water coming through now after this. Here are the buildings. Here are the buildings right here. See the buildings right here? Okay, you see all this ink right here that makes the unidirectional lines? There's darker ink in certain spots. You'll see it. Okay, these unidirectional lines is movement towards the subject, which is us. As I change the magnification, you're going to see all of this. All of this is going to turn to waves coming in from those nukes that went down, and they're going to be destroying the city. Watch. There it goes. There it is. See it? See how it changed? See how it gets all fluffy?
It's on the money.
There it is. Buildings being wiped out. There it is. See the water? That's water. I'm going to go back. Look. There it is. Now picture the water coming at you. Boom. Boom. Now picture the water coming at you. Boom, 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 boom. Devastation. Let me show you what's going to precipitate that, which is on the new $100 bill. It's coming to New York. I guarantee it. I prophesied it in 2007. It's on the 10. The Hoover Dam also event is going to happen. They've cleared out Lake Mead. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. It's printed on the money. Okay, let me show you what's going to cause this. Here's the other side of the $100 bill. I'm going to enlarge it. There you go. There it is. This is all water splashing up. This is a missile right here. There are the fins of the missile. Here's the fuselage of the missile and the head of the missile impacting into the water. This ink represents the water going up and a nuke. Watch as I change the magnification. Ready? There it is. There it is. There you go. That's what's coming. Now all you have to do is go watch the DVD we did, Destruction of America or Crowning the Tyrant. And you'll see other images on the U.S. currency that have all been hidden right in front of your face. And if you look, there it all is. See the different layers of ink? Watch there's the missile hitting. There it is going in. There's the water coming up and the nuke beginning. There it is. All right, also on this bill, there's this blue stripe. It's a hologram. What it is, it's, if I move it around, it's the Liberty Bell and it's ringing. If you move a hologram, the hologram moves. So if there was a clanger in there and it's going like this, what would it be doing? It would be going ding, 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 ding. They are sounding their alarm. This bill is a vehicle to distribute their plans. That's what they're doing. These are their plans. to nuke the United States. It's Satan's plan, by the way, Satan and the fallen angels. But we have members of our government who have been taken over by demonic spirits, and they're part of this. There it is. This blue line, it also represents a water event, and it's the bell ringing. They're ringing the bell, and I'm ringing the bell. That's what my name means. Yahweh's given a bell ringer. So I'm sounding the alarm. Prepare yourselves. I don't know the hour, the day, the month, of the year, but I'm telling you it's coming about. In the story, folks, get ready. Jesus is coming. So is the end. World War III is upon us.
Okay. Okay. Any comments? Any comments?
That's interesting. I'm
Yeah,
glad
that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's on the money. You know what I mean? He's showing you, and you see it. See the extent they went to do that. Because you're not gonna see all the stuff he's showing you unless you get under a light, a black light, or some kind of light. That's a lot of money to spent to do that. And if I got some more videos from the same guy. You're gonna see how they previous events that already happened was on the money before they happened. It's called the full video is two. Let me see. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's called Destruction of America, full length. Right. So we show you how they've been doing this on the money forever. So you got to already understand that this coming. And so, like I'm saying, when you understand all that, that's got to be our deliverance. Because if you got 100 and some foot tidal waves that come to the East Coast, that's gonna wipe the East Coast out.
Yeah.
And look what's already happening on the other coast, with California. That's the cue. That's how we're gonna get out of here. And you already see what's going on right now. It's gonna be riots all over the place in the next couple of days and weeks behind this Biden and Trump thing.
Don't know what Trump gonna do with his last months in the White House.
Well, you just saw it. You just saw it, right? You know, that's what I'm saying. When you look at what's going on, this war that you know is coming. If it's gonna come, it's got to come in between this right here.
Right.
It's got to come in between there, because I just don't see. I don't see the significance of Biden. I don't see it. So it's something that's coming, and that's what I think people keep on saying, that people feeling there's something coming. Is that they're gonna shut the whole West Coast down with this tidal wave.
East Coast.
East Coast.
Wow.
They're gonna open up they got on the $50 bill, I think it is. Yeah, if you watch the video, but they got on the $50 bill, he can show you the same thing with the Hoover Dam. They're gonna bust the Hoover Dam open.
Wow.
Trump has made that statement that he's the last president. He's made that statement more than once.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's something seriously coming. Like I said, America is pretty much over. It's just like I say, it's a controlled demo job. They just gotta, they gotta stick to their plans and bring it about, because they want the population of the world. We already know that from the Road and Belt Initiative. They said 85 to 90% of the world population gonna be in Africa by between now and 2030. So they go your way. The reason how they gonna get us over there, right there. Right. Everything else is already chaotic. You have to the stock market is an illusion, and that's the only reason a lot of people haven't just decided to get the hell out of here, because they under these illusions that the stock market is still good and all this, but all that stuff ain't no good. Unemployment is at an all-time high. So when this here event happens, that's it. You're gonna see mass migrations. Yeah. And the people that's in the know, those Edomites, they're already gone. They already set. They done already relocated. They'll mosey back over here every now and then, just checking and waiting to see when it happens. But they already set up somewhere else. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna try to do about a hour or so tonight for the evening class. But I'm gonna play this here. It's a little blast from the past. It's tied to yeah. Let me get this right. It's tied to Israel Will Not Destroy Part 1. So I'm trying to some of the stuff that I have on Prophets of Awakening, I'm trying to bring it over to Israel Wake Up. So people come in, they have some information to deal with.
Shalom, shalom, Hebrews. I made a video earlier on YouTube entitled Israel Was Not Destroyed in 70 AD. I gave some pretty strong points, but I wanted to add to that and solidify the whole thing there, make it plain. I pondered on doing a follow-up, a part 2 to this video, and I decided, because of the importance of the topic and the urgency of all that's going on in the world and what's going on with the nation of Israel, its regathering, I decided to press forward with a follow-up, part 2 to the video. In part 1, I explained how that Gabriel, the archangel, revealed to Daniel in the book of Daniel, chapter 8, that a he-goat would arise on the world scene and smite the ram that had the 2 horns. The he-goat being Greece, the third beast in Daniel chapter 7, verse 6, and the ram being the beast of Persians in Daniel 7, verse 6. Gabriel revealed to Daniel that the Greeks in the latter end of their kingdom would destroy Israel as a nation. Daniel 8, verses 23 to 25. Antioch Epiphanes did just that in 43 BC. 143 BC. Antioch stripped the temple of its treasures, stopped the oblations, and caused the abomination that make a desert, so that no one of Israel remained in Israel. 1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 45. Antiochus was the prince that shall come and shall destroy the city, Jerusalem, and the sanctuary, the temple, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. In Daniel 9, verse 26, and Daniel 8, verse 23 through 25. The Israelites returned from Babylon after 70 years, just as Jeremiah had prophesied in Jeremiah 25, verse 12. The Israelites built Zerubbabel's temple, not Solomon's temple, Zechariah 4, verse 6. Solomon's temple was destroyed by the Babylonians. Hebrews, let us get this thing right, because this is of the utmost importance. Antioch Epiphanes destroyed Zerubbabel's temple and drove out the Israelites, who fled into Africa and settled on the west coast of Africa. All this happened in 143 BC, give or take some years. This did not take place in 70 AD. The Hebrew Israelites were long gone from the land of Israel in 70 AD. It was given to Daniel in a dream by the archangel Gabriel, and he informed and explained to Daniel, and it all came to pass in 143 BC, not in 70 AD. We see in Daniel 9, verse 27, the Antioch Epiphanes would confirm a covenant with many Israelites, lawless Israelites, for 1 week, 7 years. And in the midst of the week, he, Antiochus, should cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease. And for the overspreading of the abomination, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desert. Hebrews, this event came to pass in 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11 through 28, when lawless Hebrews arose out of Israel and said, "Let us go and make a treaty, a covenant, for 7 years with the heathens around us. For ever since the time we became separated from them, many misfortunes have overtaken us." Therefore, they went to the King Antiochus, and he authorized them to introduce the practices of the heathen and submitted to uncircumcision and disowned the holy agreement. After establishing the covenant with the Israelites, Antiochus conceived an idea of being king of Egypt also. So he entered Egypt with a strong force and made war on Ptolemy, king of Egypt. And Ptolemy turned and fled before him, and many fell wounded. And Antiochus captured the land of Egypt. After subduing Egypt for 3.5 years, in the 143rd year, Antiochus, in the midst of the week of 7 years, turned back and came up against Israel and entered Jerusalem with a strong force. Antiochus and his arrogance went into the sanctuary, took the gold altar and the lampstand, the bowls, the golds, the curtains, the crown, the gold ornamentation on the front of the temple, and he stripped it all off. He massacred Israelites and spoke with great arrogance. The very earth was shaken over its inhabitants, and the whole household of Jacob was covered with shame. Hebrews, it was told to Daniel by Gabriel that Antiochus would be powerful, and he would destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the Israelites, the holy people. Antiochus, through his policies, also would cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he would magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand, just as Alexander the Greek was broken without hand. My fellow Israelites, this all came to pass in 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41 through 53. It reads as follows. The king Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that they should become one people, and everyone should give up his particular practices. And many from Israel agreed to his kind of worship and offered sacrifices to idols and broke the Sabbath. Jerusalem and the towns of Judah followed practices that were foreign to their country, and put a stop to whole burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings at the sanctuary, the temple. Antiochus caused the Israelites to break the Sabbath and to profane the feast and pollute the temple. He caused Israel to build altars and sacred precincts and idol temples, and sacrifice hogs and unclean cattle, and to leave their sons uncircumcised, and defile themselves with every unclean and profane practice. Many of the Israelites and everyone who was ready to forsake the law joined with them, and they did wrong in the land, and forced Israel to hide in every hiding place they had. Hebrews, my fellow Hebrews, Gabriel tells Daniel in Daniel 12, verse 9 and 10, to go his way, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. This too, Hebrews, came to a pass in 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 59 to 64, which states, on the 25th of the month, they offered sacrifices upon the altar, which was set up on the altar of burnt offerings. The women who had circumcised their children, they put to death under this decree, hanging the babies around their necks and destroying their families, and the men who had circumcised them. Yet many in Israel stood firm and resolved in their hearts not to eat what was unclean. They preferred death to being polluted with the food or profaning the sacred agreement. And so they died, and Israel suffered intensely. With all that being said, and understanding that Antiochus Epiphanes and the Greeks destroyed Israel as a nation, Israel came to an end at the time appointed. In closing, my fellow Hebrew Israelites, I must remind you that the Lord said that he would break the king of fierce countenance, Antiochus Epiphanes, without hand after he destroyed Israel. This is in Daniel 8, verse 25. And my fellow Hebrew Israelites, The Lord of hosts did just as he had said in 2 Maccabees 9, verses 5, verses 7, verses 9 through 12, and verses 28. The all-seeing Lord, the God of Israel, struck Antiochus down with an incurable but unseen blow. For he had hardly uttered of the words when he was seized with an incredible pain in his bowels and sharp, eternal pains. But it happened that he fell off his chariot as he was rushing along. He was racked in every part of his body from the fall, making the power of God manifest to all men, so that worms swarmed from the impious creature's body. And while he was still alive in anguish and pain, his flesh fell off. And because of the stench, the whole army turned from corruption in disgust. The man who shortly before thought he could touch the stars of heaven, no one could bear to carry because of his intolerable stench. So it was then that, broken in spirit, he began for the most part to give up his arrogance, and under the scourge of the God to obtain some knowledge, for he was tortured with pain in every instant. So the murderer and blasphemer, after the most intense suffering, such as he had inflicted on other people, ended his life most pitifully among the mountains in a foreign land. Such was the end of Antiochus, who was called Epiphanes. My Hebrew Israelites, I hope that this video informed and shed a light on when Israel was destroyed. And I hope to visit you in the future with more videos. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Okay. So with that being said, anybody got any comments or anything they caught out of that they want to talk about? Do anybody know who Antiochus Epiphanes is? Okay. What I'm gonna do is read out of Psalms chapter 3. This is it's a prayer of confidence in the Lord of hosts. It says, Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no hope for him in God. But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of my head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept. I awakened, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of tens of thousands of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord. Thy blessings is upon thy people. Okay. So with that being said, I wanted to close out with this little, they always saying that there's nothing new under the sun. Well, I'm gonna give you an example of that right here. I'm in the King James Bible, and I'm in the King James Bible. So I'm gonna read that. I'm in 2 Kings chapter 22, and it's like I said, there's nothing new under the sun because the books was lost. Our books been lost, been hidden off. The Most High caused them to tamper with our understanding, and then he also had some of our books hidden. But in these last days, we finding these books, and we find out the difference in how our forefathers and the covenant and how everything went with back in the day, in contrast to what they told us. So I'm gonna show you where the same thing happened back in the day. I mean, like I said, 2 Kings 22. okay, and what's going on is what this does is it ties you to let's see, it ties you to the fact that how everything works with the Most High. So let me read it. It says, we know that the Israelites had to go to Babylon for 70 years, and so I showed you that just like you got 6 days and the 7th day you rest is a Sabbath day. That's for man, but you also got a Sabbath year, and it's 6 years. It's for the land, and so you till the ground. Remember that Adam was a tiller of the ground. So this don't apply to everybody. So you got 6 years you till the ground, and the 7th year you allowed to rest. Well, understanding that's 490 years, because you get 70 Sabbath years. The reason why they had to go to Babylon, that means that you have to add 70 times 6. Then you add that to the 70 years, that's 490 years. So they didn't keep the Sabbath year for 490 years. So you say, well, when did this happen? Well, it's right here when I'm getting ready to read. It says, I'm starting reading, it says, this the last king of Israel or Judah that was on the throne right before Nebuchadnezzar came and sent them to Babylon. So it says, verse 8, and Hilkiah the high priest said unto Stephen the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah gave the book to Stephen, and he read it. So 400, the reason why they weren't keeping it was they had done away with the book. It was down in the bottom of the temple, pushed up under some more chests or something. They weren't even dealing with it, right? And so then this high priest Hilkiah found it, just like we doing. We finding books because it's time for us to find them. So he says, and Stephen the scribe came to the king and brought the king word again and said, thy servants have gathered the money that was found in the house and have delivered it into the hands of them that do the work, that have the oversight of the house of the Lord. And Shaphan, the scribe, showed the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest have delivered me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And it came, and this is what I'm saying. This is a sign that we ain't dealing with. If Hezekiah is a righteous seed out of David, and you read this, and this the book of these the words of the Most High, and he gonna respond to him. But it's something going on with you if you don't. That's a sign for the person that you're dealing with. It's a sign for you. So it says, and Stephan the scribe showed the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath delivered me a book. And Stephan read it before the king. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the book of the law that he rent his clothes. See? So we already know what's up with him. The word all up in it. So it says, and the king commanded Hilkiah the priest and Achim the son of Stephan and Akbar and son of son of Micaiah and Shaphan the scribe and Ashaiah, a servant of the king, saying, go ye, inquire of the Lord for me and for the people and for all Judah concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according to all that which is written concerning us. See that? So the stuff they didn't hear from us and tamper with, it's concerning us. And they didn't hear it from us. And then people want to know why we're in the predicament we're in. So he says, so Hilkiah the priest and Ahikam and Akbar and Shaphan and Ashaiah went in unto Hadar the prophetess, the wife of Shulem, the son of Sheva, the son of Harris, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the cottage, and they communed with her. So they went. So they found this book, and they started reading the book, and it pricked them. It raised their spirit up, because this was the book that came down from Moses and from Sinai. They had got away from the Most High word. They weren't even dealing with it. And so, like I was telling you before, that it's nothing new on the sun because we dealing with the same thing now. And the ones that the Most High want to deal with, these books that he's bringing forth is affecting them. It's changing their countenance. It's raising their spirit. So after they read this book, we're going to look at what Josiah did. This the last king right before Nebuchadnezzar came. So it says, and the king sent, after all this happened with the book, the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem, and the king went up into the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Lord. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimony and his statutes with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of the covenant that were written in the book. And all the people stood to the covenant. So we see right here that it changed him. Once the Most High sent the word and the high priest read it to him, it changed his whole demeanor and changed his countenance. He went down a whole nother road. And it's no different than what's happening now to the Israelites. When they start getting hold to these books and getting the right knowledge, it just totally send you down a whole nother road. And like I said before, when you understand what he done, there's no way in hell that he sent no son, and there's no way in hell he sent nobody to be healing, laying hands on nobody, because we in the midst of Deuteronomy 28, all those curses in Deuteronomy 28. So, like I said, either he sent the curses or he sent his sons. It's one or the other. One of them is a lie. And we know, based upon all these books that's been lost and displaced, and all that's befalling us, we know that we dealing with the curses. He ain't sent nobody to lay no hands on nobody or to baptize nobody. That's a lie from the pits of hell. So, with that being said, anybody got any comments or something they want to inject in this conversation before we go? Let me bring you right up. Okay. Anybody got anything? Any comments? Questions?
I want to say, when you were saying that he heard the words, right?
Right.
He was not fumbling with it. He was not fighting with it. He was not trying to turn it into something else. Like this morning you were saying about, people was trying to say that there were angels and women in heaven, right?
Right.
And so when you were saying like they just totally read over that, right?
Right.
So when this book was found and it was read, he took it for what it was. He was not trying to turn it into something else.
Right. And it's a particular spirit that's on the same. When the Most High said, and he breathed the spirit to Adam, that same spirit on all the Israelites.
Right.
All the righteous ones. So when that word comes, that's when the Israelite, the elect, the ones he's dealing with, they're gonna respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come to them and they don't respond to it, they don't have an effect on them. There's something wrong with them. There's something going on.
Right.
And that's point blank.
Sorry. Yeah, I think that is the main reason of how we know if we are an Israelite or not. Is by when you find out the truth, you gonna grab hold to it,
right,
and it's gonna set in your spirit. If you don't grab hold to it, you're not an Israelite.
Right.
You know, right. And I understand you say, he's going to wake us up one by one, but you can't go around and say you're an Israelite and you not, doing right, or you want to read what's in the Old Testament and turn it into, you know, something else, and you know, you're just not seeing the word for what it is. That's why we're in the predicament we're in now.
Exactly. Yeah, right. And so, like I said, he's he's looking for his righteous seeds, and he pouring his spirit out on them, and that's how you find them. That's how you find them. When he pour the spirit on them, they're gonna gravitate to it and respond to it, and the ones that ain't, they ain't gonna respond to it. And so, like I said, it's a remnant.
Mm-hmm.
The remnant is a set amount of people. There ain't no whole bunch of people. It's a remnant.
Right.
Right. And that's all he ever dealt with was a remnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anybody else got anything before we go? Everybody good? Nobody have no questions from this morning? Okay. Well, I hope everybody keep be vigilant, because you know, it's we're in some troubled times right now with this going on with this election, and what's going on with Trump and Biden and all that. You can expect people to start coming in the streets. There's going to be a lot of you know, chaos. Because I know down here I've been seeing all these National Guard and you know, soldiers all over the place. You know, they have a training center down there, but you don't really see that as many as I've been seeing lately. So it's like they positioning people in for what they know getting ready to happen. You know, they know it's inevitable. So with that being said, I'm gonna, you know, hit you with a little bit of this line, then we're gonna shut it down.